Hi everyone, I'm excited to be creating this video because in it I'm going to be talking about appositives. The information that I will be using in this video come from an excellent book from Harvey. The book's name is The Nuts and Bolts of College Writing. So if you want to improve your writing, this is an excellent book that I suggest that you read. Appositives play a big role in writing. Let's see what they are and how we use them. So, definition: an appositive is a noun phrase used to identify another noun. Let's see this example to understand what appositives are. Original sentence is: Huygens was one of the most remarkable Dutch personages of the 17th century. Huygens visited the young Rembrandt in 1626. The sentence sounds weird because we're repeating Huygens back to back. We don't need to do that. We can combine the two sentences and have a short and a better, more professional sentence. Let's see how we do that. Look, in the first sentence, it says Huygens was one of the most So instead of saying was one of, I could put a comma after Huygens and drop was and go like one of the most remarkable Dutch personages of the 17th century, add another comma there, and this time I don't need to use Huygens because I put Huygens in the beginning. I said one of the then comma. It's a continuation of the previous sentence. Visited young Rembrandt in 1626. So I added two commas, and through those, I connected two sentences. Now, the phrase, one of the most remarkable Dutch personages of the 17th century, this whole phrase refers to the previous noun, Huygens. So I don't need to repeat Huygens over and over again. So the sentence shrinks to this: Huygens, one of the most remarkable Dutch personages of the 17th century, visited the young Rembrandt in 1626. But here is the important part. I can safely remove the appositive part. I can safely remove one of the most remarkable Dutch personages of the 17th century. And the sentence still makes sense. So the sentence reads like this: Huygens visited the young Rembrandt in 1626. So here is the tip. You can remove appositives like this and the sentence still reads meaningfully. To sum up, we use commas to create appositives. Instead of commas, sometimes you can use a long dash. So they are used interchangeably. They mean the same thing. Let's see an example. And in this example, you will see that we can also connect appositives. There's an appositive here, another one here. You can safely connect them together. Say one of them with a comma, the other one with long dash, or all of them with commas. It doesn't matter. You can connect them all. So let's see an example. This is the revised sentence. Angelou's novel ends with a return to Ghana. Appositive. A powerful symbol for African Americans. Now there is a long dash. Now there is another appositive. The first African notion to throw off British colonial power. Here we have two appositives. The first one refers to the return. Look at the beginning of the sentence. It says Angelou's novel ends with a return to Ghana. That returning part is what the first appositive refers to. What is the first appositive? It is a powerful symbol for African Americans. What is that powerful symbol? The return to Ghana, right? And there is a second appositive. It says the first African nation to throw off British colonial power. So here, the second appositive refers to Ghana. Two appositives back to back. You can use them either with commas or one of them with long dash to add more variety into your writing. Another point about appositives. An appositive can also serve to narrow or refine your focus. Let's say you are talking about something in a general way. You can use appositives to focus your writing. Let's see an example. But when low status employees, comma, especially women, comma, file grievances, the results are quite different. Here we are talking about something general, low status employees. Then we're gonna give examples of those low status employees. So we start with something general, then we narrow it down into something particular. Here you can use appositives, 1 comma before, 1 comma after, especially women. Now this is not my example, so you cannot accuse me of anti-feminism examples. This is the example that Harvey uses in his book. I have no responsibility whatsoever. Now, the second point, as you can see here, is what we discussed earlier. It says when an appositive supplies information that is not essential to the meaning of the sentence, it must be set off by either commas or dashes. When there is a piece of information that is not central to the meaning of the holistic sentence, we use dashes or we use 2 commas. We put it in the beginning, but we can totally remove the whole part. You can take it off and the sentence still makes sense. In this example, let's read it again. It says, but when low status employees, especially women. Now I can safely remove that especially women part. Especially women, I remove it. So the sentence reads, but when low status employees file grievances, the results are quite different. That's what the point is about. So when a piece of information is not central, you can delete it, or instead of deleting, you can put it between 2 commas or 2 dashes and use it as a positive. And this way you add extra depth to your writing. Next, usage of appositives. Appositives serve to identify sources elegantly and economically. Let's see what that means. Let's see this example. The example says, George Gamow, the noted physicist and cosmologist, was one of the early proponents of the Big Bang theory. Here, as you can see, we want to give some information on the identity of George Gamow. But instead of bringing another and separate sentence, you can combine 2 sentences. You can use a positive and very shortly tell us who that person is. Or if you're introducing a book, instead of having another sentence giving some information about that book, you can put them together and make the 2 sentences work together and make it shorter and more elegant. So George Gamow, now comes the appositive. The noted physicist and cosmologist. You see, the noted physicist and cosmologist refers to who? George Gamow. So I do not separate it as a whole sentence, as an independent sentence. Put them together, let them work together. Next point. If an appositive is essential to the meaning, it should not be set off by punctuation. That is, if it is really essential to the meaning, you should not separate it with commas or with dashes. Let's look at this original example first. President Kennedy had a brother named Robert. Second sentence. Robert served as Attorney General. So I don't need to just let the 2 sentences stay there separate. Like I can put them together and make it shorter. So it goes like President Kennedy's brother, who? Robert, served as Attorney General. Here is the point. If that name is not really important, you are the author, you will know that. If that name is not really important and you're giving extra piece of information, feel free to put a comma before and after Robert, or a long dash before and after Robert. But if that name is important, like in this sentence, do not put commas or dashes before and after it. Just let it be like that. President Kennedy's brother, Robert, served as Attorney General. Lastly, use dashes if the appositive consists of a list of 3 or more items. Let's say you're using an appositive, and that appositive already has several items in it, 3 or more, as our author says here. So there are 3 items in that appositive, which means you're already using punctuations, you're already using commas. But if you use 2 commas before and after that appositive, it's gonna be a mess. It might be a little bit confusing. So instead of putting 2 commas before and after the appositives, put 2 long dashes before and after the appositive, and inside the appositive there are already commas. It would be more understandable to the reader. Let's see an example. Although students here come from different countries, now we are introducing the appositive. But pay attention, the appositive has 3 parts. Like Iraq, Egypt, and Sweden, they speak the same scientific language. So here the appositive is like Iraq, Egypt, and Sweden, right? So we have already 3 items and we have already 2 commas there. So instead of adding 2 more commas before and after the appositive and making it more complex, it's better to go with 2 long dashes. Here it's more understandable what the appositive is and where it ends. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I am sure that it helps your writings because it helps my writings a lot, and use them well. Your writings are going to be much more professional than what they used to be. Please like and share to help the page and the channel.